And we are live. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the PSBTA Technical Solutions webinar series. My name is Martha Ellis, and I'm the Executive Director of the Public Safety Broadband Technology Association, or the PSBTA. As an association, our primary objective is to work as an end-user advocate for all primary and extended primary FirstNet users. This includes all first responders and service providers who support response, mitigation, and recovery efforts during emergencies. We've created this webinar series in an effort to bring you the most current and accurate information on all aspects of broadband use for public safety personnel, including the latest developments in technology specific to FirstNet and the FirstNet ecosystem. Today's webinar is all about helping you optimize the FirstNet network in innovative and cost-effective ways, assuring the highest level of preparedness with your communications systems. Before we get started today, I have a couple housekeeping items. All attendees have automatically been muted to reduce background noise. Any questions should be submitted directly to us through the questions function, which is located at the bottom of the menu on the right side of your screen. Questions will be answered at the end of our presentations. We will attempt to get to everyone's questions during the live portion, but we also want to be cognitive of the allotted hour. If we cannot get to your question, we'll definitely follow up with you after the live portion today. If you have further questions when the webinar is over, we'll also provide emails for all of the presenters at the end so you can follow up at your convenience. We're focusing on body camera system solutions today, as law enforcement and frankly all members of the public safety community turned to a responder view capture of conditions on the scene. We are also facing uncertain times budgetarily. So how do we protect ourselves, provide the highest level of safety and transparency to our citizens, and do it reliably and within budget? We'll explore a three-pronged approach that includes a ruggedized smartphone, cutting-edge software, and our nation's only dedicated public safety broadband network, FirstNet. Our presenters today are Angela Spain, Account Director for Kyocera, Alexander Popof, Chief Operating Officer for Visual Labs, and Doug Clark, Executive Director, FirstNet Program, FirstNet Built with AT&T. They're here today to help you solve one of the biggest challenges facing public safety today. And with that, I'm going to turn the time over to Angela to get us started with our webinar, How to Deploy an Innovative and Cost-Effective Body Camera Solution.
Thanks, Martha. Hello, everyone. Good morning or good afternoon, depending on where you are. I'm Angela Spain, and I am with Kyocera. I'm dedicated to the AT&T team and support mainly the West Coast. Today, I'm going to talk to you about Kyocera and our DuraForce Pro 2. FirstNet ruggedized device. Our device is made to withstand different types of environments. It is military standard, waterproof, and has a dragon tail glass. We use an Android operating system on a 5-inch display with a 4K wide-angle lens. Our device allows for Wi-Fi calling, is dust-proof, designed to withstand extreme temperatures, high pressure, and so much more. Our device can be easily cleaned and disinfected. Our device has dual front speakers, fingerprint authentication. Not only that, but the affordable cost of ownership makes this device the choice of many departments in public safety. Our device is built for different types of work environments. It also is waterproof, up to 6.5 feet for 30 minutes. Easier to hear and be heard. Our enhanced 4-microphone noise cancellation system allows for louder calls in environments that you need them. Our Qualcomm chipset with our dual front speakers, our HD voice, and our Wi-Fi calling makes this design usable and flexible. We have dedicated keys, 2 of them, one for push-to-talk and one for camera functions, which could be customized to another program if you so choose. We are a partner under pressure. Why does a DuraForce Pro 2 make sense for public safety? So it's a single ruggedized device to help manage all of your activities. We'll talk a little bit more about that with Alexander and how you can use our device as a body-worn camera solution. So in times like we're in today, you can easily disinfect and clean your DuraForce Pro 2. We have a 2-year warranty on our devices, and that includes the battery. We also have a Business Select program that allows you or anyone on your staff to call in for support, and support that is strictly dedicated to FirstNet customers. We offer advanced replacement options, customized provisioning, and also lifecycle management. We partner with many accessory vendors. Here's just some examples of our RSM mics. We also partner with many public safety focused solutions, such as LMR interoperability, like you said, the body-worn camera. Some customers are using it for in-vehicle video, gunshot detection, man down. Below are some of our partners. If you're using a partner, feel free to reach out and see if we've been certified with them or possibly can be certified in the future. Our device also can be used as a hotspot. With our current promotion at AT&T, you can get your device for 99 cents with a FirstNet activation. At Kyocera, we strive to offer ruggedized devices designed with first responders in mind. We focus on customizing connections for critical situations. With a meld of the FirstNet network, our hardware, and software partners like Visual Labs, we can offer a total solution for a wide range of industries. We do know that not everyone is a rugged device customer, although I think they probably should be. You need a rugged, reliable, dependable device that's going to work in the environment that you need it to. At Kyocera, we have a sales team that is dedicated to AT&T in each region. Some of those people are myself, Angela Spain, Kirk Nobles in the central area, and Sarah Estrella in the east. Nikki Fu is our manager, and you can reach out to any of us at any time. So DuraForce Pro 2, we believe it is a force to be reckoned with. With that said, I will pass this off to Alexander Popof, the COO of Visual Labs, to talk about how you can use our device combined with his software.
That's great. Thank you very much, Angela. Let me just get the screen going here. Should be ready to go. All righty. So we go. I appreciate that. And Angela there talking about kind of the first leg of the triumvirate, or the first of the three-legged legs of the stool, the smartphone, software, and the network. And Angela covered the smartphone very well with the Kyocera DuraForce Pro 2 being a FirstNet ready phone, ruggedized, that many of our customers use all over the country. So we're pleased to partner with Kyocera with that hardware. So again, I'm from Visual Labs. You can see smartphone body cameras, and we call ourselves the body camera company that does not make body cameras. And, you know, hopefully we didn't just drop a bunch of attendees saying, well, wait a minute, I was here to learn about an innovative and cost-effective body camera solution, and you're saying you don't make body cameras. But hopefully it will all make sense to you when I'm done with the presentation here. We are a software company, but we're partnering effectively with Kyocera and with FirstNet in this combination to provide a cost-effective and innovative solution. So, but before I kind of get into some of the detail, I just wanted to step back a little bit. Obviously, there's a lot of current events going on these days, both from the COVID perspective, which has impacted all of us in, you know, more than one way, certainly, and then the social unrest, the unfortunate events in Minneapolis and elsewhere. And it really has affected our industry, both, you know, from almost all perspectives. And you see a lot on the news where community members are saying, we are now demanding more and more body cameras. We want these, we want these. But what you don't see as much, but it's an equally present force, is the law enforcement agencies and some fire and EMS saying, we want the body cameras also, because transparency is a two-way street. You know, we don't want to be accused of things that, you know, we didn't do, but if we're responsible, you know, we want to be held accountable for it, but we want the public to be accountable. So, you know, there's been this uptick in demand, and it's really finally being driven by both sides the community and the law enforcement agencies. So it's a very interesting time. A couple of the states have already reacted almost immediately. You figure this is lightning speed for bills getting passed in state legislatures. Governor Cuomo in New York passed a bill that says, all their state police must wear body cameras. That was pretty easy because it's one agency. The state of Connecticut is going into special session within a couple of weeks, and the proposed bill there will mandate both body and dash cameras. Pretty interesting. They're about a 2-year window there. Colorado has already passed legislation, and these legislation are, emphasize, they've been talked about for years potentially, but really only seriously in the last 6 to 8 weeks. So again, very, very quick legislative action here. So the state of Colorado passed a mandatory body camera requirement for all law enforcement agencies in the state, and they gave them 3 years to comply. Obviously we're seeing some demand. I'm sure, some of our competitors are as well, from the agencies trying to figure out what is the best solution. And, usually, they're hopefully looking for innovative and cost-effective solutions. State of New Mexico, interestingly enough, same time frame as far as the debate on the bill, and it was passed. But rather than Colorado giving them 3 years, in New Mexico, the legislature gave the law enforcement agencies 3 months. So you're talking a 90-day requirement. So there's a lot of activity there. Agencies going through that process there. So, the public and the protests and the, accountability has really driven the industry here. The other thing is COVID. You think, well, how does COVID affect body cameras? Well, you've got a lot of law enforcement agencies out there doing the social distancing, enforcing social distancing where that's required. So it's sort of ready to go there, the solution. And I think we've got another webinar coming up here in August that specifically talks about social distancing and about that. But, one of the interesting things, I found it a little humorous. There's a couple of body camera companies out there, a few of which are public. There's a large one and a couple of small ones. But one of the smaller ones, they were directly impacted by COVID because they're a very, very hardware-centric company. And their folks could not get out and deploy this hardware and install all this hardware. So I just want to read you some quotes from their CEO. It's the standard quote you might expect to hear. Current events are bringing widespread attention to the importance of body cameras. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, everyone thinks that way. But the CEO goes on to add, current events are also bringing about a demand for virus-fighting weapons, such as disinfectants and temperature measurement instruments. Our company is in a great position to answer the call in providing effective and safe products where and when they're needed most. And this company, after applying for a PPP loan to try to make sure they could survive, launched their disinfectant. So it goes on to say, the company is launching its disinfectant sanitizer and several related products to fulfill demand by current customers and others for disinfectant and sanitizer. So here you had a very sort of radical shift of a body camera company that got into the disinfectant and sanitizer business because of COVID, because of the impact on their business and obviously, the demands from the customer. So, you can go Google that. There's all public information from a public press release. So not sharing anything behind the scenes. So anyway, I just thought I'd fill in a little bit of the, a little background here. And, we potentially have, folks from Colorado, New Mexico, Connecticut, other agencies in New York probably will get that pressure. I saw the pre-registration list, a couple of our friends from Canada there, so a special shout out to them as well. But it's affecting not just the U.S., but obviously a worldwide situation. So anyway, didn't want to drone on too long about all that, but trying to add a little bit more color to the whole situation here. So I'm going to jump into very quick about a dozen slides here, and then we're going to go to a live demo to show you a little bit of our solution. And again, Smartphone software network, we're the software piece of that. Again, smartphone body cameras here. So I'm sure you can all see my screen, and they say, okay, well, what exactly? What are you talking about, Alexander? Why aren't you making body cameras here in your body camera company? And we step back and say, let's talk about the paradigm shift a little bit. And this is where we get into the innovation part. And it flows out into cost effective as well. You can see on the left-hand side of the screen here, a lot of disparate pieces of hardware that don't necessarily talk to each other. You've got body cameras, and you've got docking stations and digital cameras and audio recorders, GPS units, AVL units in the police cars, the patrol cars, could be in fire, could be in EMS, a lot of station wiring. This sort of has been a patchwork of hardware put together over the past, 5, 10, 15, and as far as dash cameras going back some 20 years. And now it's really, we're saying there's a paradigm shift. It's time to rethink the existing technology. And if you see on the right, we say this is the future. We're going to get rid of the status quo and these multiple hardware devices on the left. It's the future. It's the smartphone. So BWC to us means body-worn camera. Doesn't mean body-worn camera, it means body-worn computer, because that's what it effectively is. It's not just a simple GoPro. It's not just something that records video and audio, and there's plenty of solutions out there that do that, but this is a computer. And so if you take a smartphone, and happens to be the Kyocera DuraForce Pro 2 shown here with the Visual Labs application on it, everything you see on the left-hand side and much, much more is now encompassed in that single device. The next, from our perspective, it's the software. So again, smartphone software network, the software. Our software is actually in two different pieces. It's the software application that goes on the smartphone itself. There's, login and all the security and CJIS compliance and all that, and as well as CJIS compliance on the back-end management, evidence management website. So we've got an application that's on the smartphone and the back-end evidence management website where everything is stored, and all the location analytics and a lot of the power comes from the back-end website as well. One of the questions we often always get, right away is, wait a minute, a smartphone, we see a lot of citizens, holding their phone in their hand and taking video of us. How are we going to use a smartphone to take videos of them? And the smartphone solution is not different from any other body camera solution in that it's hands-free with respect to mounting on the officer. And here's just a handful of mounting. We've got others. We've got mollies and magnets and clips and cases and all kinds of different things. And the only key with a smartphone, much like any other body camera, you need a way to turn it on and off. The Kyocera has a programmable button. So as long as the officer has access to the programmable button, or alternatively a volume button here. So it's just like any other system with Visual Labs, the officer is in control of starting and stopping the video. We'll talk a little bit more about the remote activation as well in emergency situations. But picture a smartphone no different than any other body camera, mounted generally in the chest position. The Kyocera has a nice wide-angle lens, so a belt mount is certainly feasible. Of course, depends on the size and shape of the officer, how well that works or doesn't work, but many mounting options there. This is certainly one of the questions that tends to come up. FirstNet certification, people have in the past said, oh, smartphone, I don't think it's very secure, I'm a little hesitant. And that's a lot where FirstNet comes in. It's a dedicated public safety network, part of the U.S. government. Formed the FirstNet Authority, and FirstNet is being deployed and run by AT&T. The Visual Labs body camera application is FirstNet certified, and that you see these adjectives and descriptors on the right-hand side: the rigorous review, highly secure, high quality, pass stringent tests for security, data privacy, availability. One of the reasons I like to show this slide is that these are not our words. These are the words from the FirstNet Authority and AT&T, how they describe an application that has been certified. And that there are other applications out there that can be listed. And obviously there's, you could have the stock camera app and say, hey, I can make a body camera just using my phone. That's just not the case with respect to Visual Labs. We went through a very extensive process for the certification, independent code review, et cetera. So, try to address, some of the issues head on. And again, our solution is full CJIS compliant from the standpoint of security. Some of the features, I'm going to just talk about a couple of them just briefly in these slides, and then show you a little bit of it real time live on our demonstration in a little bit. But one of the things, because the built-in GPS of the phone, and it's also using cellular triangulation, known Wi-Fi hotspots, to really get that location honed down to within 2 or 3 meters outside. So you pretty much know which side of the street your officer is on. But here's an example from one of our customers. It just shows, North Precinct, black circle, yellow letters, South Precinct, yellow circle, black letters. And it just shows where all their officers are real time. And as they're moving throughout the day, throughout their shift, they can see them going up and down the highway or whatever. And on the left-hand side, they can see battery percentage. They can see whether or not an officer is recording, whether they're connected, and where they are. So again, much more powerful than a typical, a GoPro type device. Real-time, so that was a real-time location positional awareness. Real-time situational awareness via live streaming is possible, again, because of the connectivity and that great priority and preemption on the FirstNet network. Even in a crowded situation, that the traffic on FirstNet goes right to the top for first responders. So we'll get into this in a little bit more in the actual demo. We also have a lot of geographic analytics here, heat maps, so proactive policing. You can see where an area over a shift, an hour, a week, a month, a group of officers, individual officers, where are we patrolling? And are we patrolling the right areas? And is this what we should be doing with respect to the community? Geofencing, same thing. We can say, okay, there might be some critical areas around town. Could be the school, could be, in the Stanford's case, an art museum, a high-profile residential area. So these geofences were created for Stanford University Police. And you can see arbitrary shapes and sizes, but we can have those so there are check-in geofences, or just, again, management, making the management of the process easier for the command staff. What are we doing? Are we doing it right? Are we serving the needs of our community? Even more, relevant and focused on these days. Geotag videos, I'll show you this as well, but because of the GPS built into the phone, while the video is being recorded, the GPS points of the video align, and so I'll actually show you this in a little bit. As the video plays on the left-hand side, this upside down green arrow follows the video around. This was a loop around Stanford Stadium. But again, I'll show you that live in just a little bit. And then just a little bit, about Visual Labs. Our focus here is body cameras today. We also have in-car camera solution that is also innovative and extremely cost-effective. Our hardware cost per vehicle is about $600 versus, roughly $6,000 for many of our competitors. So just a tremendous cost advantage there. And we also offer interview room solutions, very cost effective as well. So we're going to take a little break here before I jump into the live demo. I'll get that set up on the back end. But I've got a short video here, a couple minutes long, showing the solution in use. And it's nice to kind of see it in slides and PowerPoint, but if you see a video, it's going to be hopefully just kind of drive it home, make it that much easier. So Martha, when you're ready, just go ahead and roll that video. So she should be getting it going here.
Robert Charles Tom 5192.
Tower 43.
Camera recording started.
We started researching body camera solutions because today's atmosphere is that officers are being questioned about the acts that they did and things that were said by not only the police officer but by the suspect or a victim or anyone like that. I was asked to research it, and I came across Visual Labs and saw where you could actually use a cell phone as a body camera. We needed a cell phone that was going to be rugged for our officers to use in the field. Cops are rough on equipment. When you put a new piece of technology out there to officers, they're going to be concerned about what that technology is going to do and how it affects their life and how it affects their daily business as a police officer.
We're going to issue you what we say you need.
I haven't had anything like this in my career prior to this. It hasn't taken me long at all to get used to the size. I mean, it's very lightweight, and we wear a lot of equipment anyway, so it was no impact at all. So there was no time getting used to it.
It's very durable. It clings on to right there, and it doesn't move with whatever action I'm taking throughout the day.
Well, I use the body camera usually on traffic stops. We do a lot of traffic stops during the day.
There's a big red button on the top, and all I do is press it once.
Camera recording started.
It's a really wide lens, so it grabs the area pretty much, so you're not having to pan back and forth to try to capture someone who may be talking, to this side of you or to that side of you. It'll pretty much grab the entire area.
The officer can annotate any video or photo that they want to. For instance, in a traffic accident, an officer will video the conversations and the statements made by drivers or witnesses on the scene. They can take pictures of driver's licenses or insurance cards and then take pictures of the damage, the roadway. The location where this happened is automatically recorded in the software. So if you take a photograph, it documents where it's taken. You have a picture. You have the video of everything that happened, witness statements, and then the officer can enter the case number for the photo or video. They can add tags such as traffic accident or a felony arrest or misdemeanor arrest at the end, and all that is done right there from the cellular device. When the officer records a video in the field, it is immediately uploaded to the cloud and is accessible by the officer, supervisors, or anyone that wants to review the video out in the field.
The Visual Labs website is extremely easy to use. It's all within a couple of clicks, and it's right there. It's a great phone. It's a great system. It's important, I feel, for a police officer to have a body camera to help people see that there's more than one side of a story.
Good morning, how you doing?
Hi, officer.
I'm Officer Maddox from the Henry County Police Department. I stopped you because I know
the body camera says the truth, and that's very important in our job.
If you add on all these applications that now Visual Labs provides, such as digital camera, GPS, body camera, and they can use a cell phone, well, now you're getting more bang for your buck, as I say.
It's a real good system. It may be one more piece of equipment, but it's just the one piece of equipment that makes sense.
Recording stopped.
All right, great. Thank you, Martha, for showing that video. All right, so give me just a little couple seconds here to get everything set up on the back end. So there's, my contact information, which I know Martha's going to share with you as well afterwards. But hopefully now the idea of, the body camera company that does not make body camera makes a little bit more sense to you. Again, using those, you saw the use of the Kyocera phone in that video. So I think it's ready to go here on the back end. So here we go. Yes. All right. So I'm just going to show a couple of the things that, I alluded to and showed some of the slides for. If I had an hour, sometimes these demos go 2 hours. We could get into a whole lot of weeds here. But again, this is the real-time positional awareness. These two officers are offline. That would be their last known position. So if these are 24/7 take-home phones, and they are fully functioning phones, it's not just a body camera. It's the phone that can make phone calls, text messages, other applications like a weather alert app or policy apps. But this is me live right here in my shelter-in-place home here in downtown Menlo Park, California. So you can see us halfway between San Francisco, San Jose, the heart of Silicon Valley. That's where, again, many of the software companies emanate. So I am live. I'm logged in here. You can see that I am connected and my battery percentage. So if I just hit that button on the Kyocera phone here,
Recording started.
that's an optional sound effect, but someone in dispatch could see that I'm recording. And if I were to move and go down the street, whether it's on foot patrol, bike patrol, car, whatever it was, that real-time positional awareness would always be there as far as recording. And the recording, again, just with that programmable button.
Recording stopped.
Again, optional sound effect. So the status goes from recording back to connected. And that footage now gets encrypted, gets a digital fingerprint for chain of custody, and automatically uploads via the cellular, the LTE network. Again, FirstNet giving that priority preemption, even in crowded times. So no intervention needed by the officer. Just automatically happens. So just a tremendous time saver. And there's other things, if time permits, someone can tag and add captions to a video in the field, change retention. So there's a lot of flexibility as well. But I talked about different ways to initiate a camera, one of which is the remote activation. So potentially, if there was a critical situation, someone in a command center, dispatch, even a chief of police at some point can set a reason and initiate a live stream. And this could be if the chief is remotely, could be at a conference somewhere, and start a live stream remotely. We used to say this feature would only be used rarely, but recently in downtown Atlanta, one of our customers is the Georgia Department of Natural Resources, and they were asked to assist in downtown Atlanta. So here's our live stream. So you can see the live stream, sort of the live stream. And it might be shaky because I'm holding it here, but I'm going to wave into the camera and say hi. And we're going to do a quick count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So hopefully you can see pretty low latency and something that could have been started remotely if an officer was in trouble. We're going to end that live video here.
Video stream.
We'll go back to the real-time position here. And like I used to say, that used to not be used a lot, but the Georgia Department of Natural Resources, which normally they've got wardens all over the state in the parks and the lakes, they were asked to assist in downtown Atlanta for crowd control and others, and we're using this live streaming extensively on their ATVs as they're going through town. So one last piece here, which is the video playback. Again, we showed this as the video plays, that upside down green arrow switches. So if I jump to the satellite map here and play the video, again, as the video plays on the left-hand side, again, might be a little choppy because of the WebEx, but this upside down green arrow is moving right along with the video. This page is also important because if you have the permissions, you can download footage, traditional DVD or flash drive or internal hard drive. You can email a link to the video, so a lot of electronic sharing these days. We have simultaneous video playback and looking for related footage, and we do offer integrated redaction, fully integrated here, so it stays within that CJIS compliant network where I could redact this footage, and our solution will do its best to identify every face in a video and automatically put a redaction box around it. It could be easily reduced if needed. We've got retention, so retention can be changed, customizable, tags that are predefined, or bookmarks that go along. We also offer a lot of automatic triggers. Holster trigger is one, speed trigger. We can link our body camera and our dash camera so that if one turns on, the other turns on. Officer injury trigger. There's a lot of automatic activations that we can build into the system as well. So again, I could go on, but that's not really the purpose. It's really to say, we're one piece of this smartphone software network piece, and I'd probably be remiss without talking about pricing. Just a rough guide, $50 per smartphone per month for the Visual Lab software, which includes all the storage. So 10 officers times 50 is $500 a month. 100, $5,000 a month. 1,000, $50,000 a month. It's just extremely cost effective, and that includes all the storage, includes the software upgrades. We don't charge for seat licenses or anything like that. We don't nickel and dime you on download fees or sharing fees or other things like that. So again, happy to get into this in a lot more detail whenever you want. Again, reach out to us. We'll just pop that up one more time. And then I'm going to turn this over to Doug Clark. And Doug is going to talk about AT&T and everything that's going on, within the FirstNet platform. So.
Fantastic. And thanks, Alexander. Let me pull up my screen here. And good afternoon, good morning to everyone. Thanks for the opportunity to come on today to talk to you a little bit about the National Public Safety Broadband Network. Before I get started, I think it's always relevant that we have an understanding of how we got started on this mission together. And it really comes out of the 9/11 Commission report that identified that a National Public Safety Broadband Network was needed based on congestion of commercial cellular networks, as well as challenges that happen with interoperability. And in 2012, the Middle Class Tax Relief Act was passed, and in that Tax Relief Act, there was in the law, it stated that the nationwide public safety broadband network shall be based on a single national network architecture that evolves with technological advancements. And if there's nothing more than what this discussion is today about some technological advancements, and I appreciate Angela and Alexander spending some time with us to walk through their two legs of the stool as I talk about another critical leg, and that is the National Public Safety Broadband Network. So when you look at the National Public Safety Broadband Network after the Middle Class Tax Relief Act, the First Responder Network Authority was formed, and part of their mission was to work with public safety and identify requirements that they would have in this nationwide public safety broadband network. And in doing so, they identified 16 different domains, and those 16 different domains fell into a request for proposal that was issued in 2016. And AT&T was the only cellular carrier that responded to that proposal, and we were awarded that to build out the National Public Safety Broadband Network on behalf of public safety for their mission to be able to communicate and take advantage of these technological advancements. I think some of the key areas to really highlight here on this slide is that the public safety broadband network, FirstNet's really built around availability, operability, and innovation. And in these domains, if you see the check mark on the slide, it talks about first priority, and that is preemption and priority, so that those that are on the National Public Safety Broadband Network, FirstNet, that are in law enforcement, police, fire, EMS, as well as those that are supporting those entities during times of disaster, have the ability to be prioritized and preempted on the network to have that access for their needs to be able to communicate and share information. On top of that, as well as coverage, we're building out the National Public Safety Broadband Network. We're in our 4th year of building out the program, and I'll talk a little bit about where we are here in a minute. Service plans and procurement, that was extremely important because it really highlights how to be able to get access to the special program for those that qualify, and to be able to get access to it is very in line with existing cellular budgets and procurement processes. And we did that to make it easy for adoption of this critical communications capability that's needed on cellular infrastructure. To even complement it even more, the program provides deployables, and we'll play a video at the end that gives you some idea of the advancement that we're making in deployables to help deliver coverage and provide connectivity in areas that may have no coverage or in areas that are impacted as part of an event that takes place that impacts coverage today. And that's included as part of your subscription to the Public Safety Broadband Network. And I think really to hone in on some other key areas is FirstNet Central, which provides local control and gives our subscribers to the National Public Safety Broadband Network access to understand how they're deployed, the configuration of the deployment. It gives them access to what we call the app catalog, the app ecosystem, which Alexander was talking about. Obviously, Visual Labs is part of that because they went through the app developer program, went through a rigorous security process as well as a rigorous process to make sure that their application fits in the needs of public safety that's governed by AT&T and the First Responder Network Authority. And I think, the last thing to really highlight is something like the Kyocera DuraForce Pro that's purpose-built. It's rugged. It's built for the mission, as well as we heard a little bit about the wide-angle lens earlier, which is critical and important for this type of use case. Overall, what the National Public Safety Broadband Network is there to do is to provide situational awareness, availability of a network to provide those communications, and it's purpose-built based on the requirements from public safety, commissioned by law from Congress, and then each state had the opportunity to opt into this network, and all 56 states and territories opted into this network. So, there's a contiguous network across the United States and the territories. And so this is truly a public safety broadband network. It's not a commercial network with public safety features that are on it. And it's purpose-built to the requirements of public safety. And, continue to engage with the First Responder Network Authority. They're currently in the process of building their roadmap for additional domains as we reinvest and sustain this network over the next, total time is 25 years. So where are we today with the National Public Safety Broadband Network? So today, we have 1.3 million connections. Those are across a variety of different agencies, and over 12,000 public safety agencies and organizations have subscribed to it. What that really means is that as you start to look inside of the geographies that you operate, it's important that if you have partners in your geography that you rely upon for response, that they're also on the public safety broadband network so that everyone has access to the same capabilities and operability as they respond based on your situation that you may be currently in. There's that app catalog is critically important. This helps drive the innovation that we were talking about, the technological advancements. So there's over 100 plus applications in the FirstNet app catalog. You get access to that through that local control portal. FirstNet ready devices. So these are devices that have integrated the most important element of the National Public Safety Broadband Network, and that is the public safety band 14 spectrum that really got us to this nationwide network. And there's 100 plus FirstNet ready devices that have that spectrum that is integrated into it. And so, as we deployed that spectrum, we've increased our coverage by 120,000 square miles of LTE just in 2019. There's 2.61 million square miles of LTE coverage nationwide for the FirstNet network for public safety to take advantage of. I'll pause on the 76 deployables because we're going to play a video here that'll highlight FirstNet 1 in just a second. But I think what's real important is, we have government oversight and accountability from the FirstNet Authority, AT&T does, to deliver this nationwide public safety broadband network. And part of that is bringing innovative technology and solutions to public safety. And Visual Labs and Kyocera as partners are definitely bringing that innovative approach to ways that we can work together to improve situational awareness and deliver rugged communications capabilities in day-to-day operations. So with that, Martha, if you don't mind playing that video, and then I think we'll wrap up and go to you for some Q&A.
We're out here near Tuskegee, Alabama. This was a training facility for the Tuskegee Airmen. Today, we at FirstNet are testing the extremes of our equipment for first responders.
We're preparing for any disaster. That could be a hurricane, it could be a wildfire, it could be an earthquake.
We'll know at the end of the day with the rain and the wind that these assets will stand up so that when we get out in the field, they're ready and able to go.
Our primary focus is to test our FirstNet 1.
It's a 55-foot long helium-filled blimp with an AT&T payload underneath.
It provides uninterrupted, instant communications across roughly 100 square miles, replacing multiple cell towers.
FirstNet 1 is capable of flying up to 1,000 feet. It's basically a flying cell tower.
Aerostats like this are going to be directly involved saving people's lives.
When public safety has a limited network, we're the team that makes sure we get communications to them.
You've got a team of former public safety people here at AT&T working really hard on your behalf.
Today's been a success. It's an incredible feeling to be ready for the public when they need us.
We're ready for any disaster. Hurricanes, wildfires, COVID, anything. You need us, we'll be there.
Okay, I'm not sure if that stopped a little early. My apologies. If I could get all of the presenters to come on back on air, we'll go ahead and go through some Q&A. There we go. Hello. Hello, everybody. All right, fantastic. And Angela will come along soon. There she is. Okay, great. You know, I'm sorry if that got cut a little bit short. I think it was pretty much toward the end. But one of the things I think most public safety leaders are going to look at when they see something like the aerostat is, what is that going to cost me to get that deployed, right? I mean, in the middle of a huge response campaign, clearly you have got your finance branch up there working hard to put a pencil to paper to make sure that the money's there. So Doug, can you talk a little bit about not just the blimp itself, but all of the assets within the response operations group and what it costs a FirstNet user to actually call for those assets?
Yeah, absolutely. So we have a process by which we engage. We call it the Response Operations Group. It's a set of individuals that are geographically dispersed, and we have liaisons that are inside of my organization that interface with public safety locally. And when there's a situation where you need communications or coverage, we have a process that you follow. You engage with your liaison, you call in, and we get you one of those assets deployed if we identify that we can't take care of your current situation faster by another means. But those assets, that program, the deployables, those are all part of the subscription to the National Public Safety Broadband Network. That's key to one of the requirements that were in that RFP that I talked about that came from the First Responder Network Authority that AT&T was awarded the contract to provide, and that's providing those deployable assets and resources to public safety. So you sign up, it's within the similar competitive pricing you see today in the market for cellular service, and you have access to those deployables at no additional cost.
So make sure I'm hearing this correctly. So an incident commander does not have to sit there and watch the dollar signs fly by hour to hour during a large campaign worrying about the sustained use of that asset. It is free to the FirstNet user for the duration of that campaign, correct?
That's correct. The incident commander's most important thing is to provide communications, logistics, and coordination. And we're there to be part of that coordination aspect for those deployables to make sure that they get what they need to do their job and execute their mission.
Extraordinary. Okay, great. Hey, Angela, I'm going to go to you and we're going to talk a little bit about the ruggedized devices. Why is it so critical to have a ruggedized device, and why is Kyocera's device so well suited for this body cam application?
Well, Martha, one of the reasons is with an Android operating system, when a call comes in and the officer's using it as a body cam, there is no interruption in the streaming of the video. So that's one reason. Another reason is officers shouldn't have to worry about breakage or the type of environment they're in, whether they're in ice, extreme temperatures. They need to be able to use this device in whatever their environment. Officers can use it wearing gloves. A lot of other devices don't have those capabilities where you can use it, with just your basic latex gloves on. So I think everyone should have a ruggedized device, in my opinion.
And once they have that device in their hands, what kind of support does Kyocera provide? Is there a customer service team? What's on the back end of that purchase and deployment?
So you have the entire Kyocera team. We also have engineers that will jump on board to assist. Same thing with like Visual Labs. We also partner with Mutual Link in those sort of instances. So really, if people could just reach out to us and let us know what your needs are, we have that area of support. We have a team that supports you nationwide, including our leadership. We also have a marketing team that will jump in and support us, as well as an accessory engineer. We also have what we consider to be our white glove support, which is our business select teams. So we have two specific teams, one for enterprise customers and one just dedicated to public safety and first responders. So whether it be you can't get a picture downloaded, or you're trying to figure out how to transfer information, or perhaps you're encountering some sort of issue with the device, you can call in and we can help anyone, not only the administrators, we can help down to basic staff with just some questions that they have.
Okay, awesome. So for quick clarification, since this webinar is in the spirit of doing this as cost effectively as possible, you mentioned the 99-cent phone with the FirstNet activation. Let's say an agency has 5 or 5,000 users. Is that price per phone per line?
It is. It's 99 cents per phone one time, no matter how many lines.
That's extraordinary. Definitely is going to help people out in these extraordinary times. Okay, Alexander, a couple questions came in for you. They're asking about the CAD integration. So is your system capable of integrating with CAD software to automatically tag videos with information like case numbers and event types?
Yes, absolutely. And that's one of the things, again, that sets us apart from some of the other vendors out there, that we're a software company. So, my favorite question is, what does your system do? Because I like to say, well, what do you want it to do? Because, we're a software company. And as long as we've integrated with CAD systems with a lot of different clients, and it will depend, obviously, to get the appropriate data from the CAD system, but then we can associate that with body camera video. And then we can either add metadata automatically, or we can provide suggestions, because it can occasionally folks get preempted from a call, and it shows up in the CAD log that they were on that call, but they ended up going on a different call. So again, we can do it automatically or manually, and that's one of the, again, advantages as a software company.
Yeah, you can really adjust to their needs. So that's fantastic. So in the event that you are unable to connect to cellular, what is the backup plan for continuing to be able to capture the video with the Visual Labs software?
Sure, great question. And we get that. I mean, obviously the FirstNet network is great out there, and in some kind of natural disaster, you've got FirstNet 1 up there. But just on a day-to-day basis, we've got clients all over the country, working, sheriff's departments working in very rural areas, even urban police departments that might go into the 3 levels down into a parking garage. But you do not need any connectivity for the body camera to function. You get the full video and audio retained. It stays on the device encrypted. And then when there's connectivity, it just automatically retries, and then that footage is uploaded automatically. So independent, the body camera is independent of connectivity.
Okay, fantastic. So this kind of goes to us asking our phones to multitask for us. If an agency were to use the Visual Labs Kyocera smartphone system, could they use the same device for other functions like electronic citation writing and so forth? And would it stop the video from running or just impact the camera angle?
No, I mean, it's the latter there. You certainly, and we have agencies, again, all over the country using it in lots of different ways, whether it's electronic ticket writing or, just different public safety apps. Again, you can make a phone call, send a text message while the video is going. And if there's a concern about the camera angle, you can certainly take the phone call via a Bluetooth headset or something like that. From a technical standpoint, the Android calls it recording in the background, so that recording continues while other applications might be being utilized.
So even an incoming call, the officer can make the decision on whether to answer it or not, but the recording would not be interrupted.
Correct. And we would think in most situations that call is going to be ignored, especially in a critical situation. But there might certainly be cases where a suspect has now left the scene, but the camera needs to be recording, the aftermath of something, or the suspect's detained safely, and the officer certainly can take the call. It would record, his or her own end of the conversation, as it would get all other ambient noise, and then end the call, and the body camera recording just continues.
Fantastic. Doug, to you again. So clearly, these are critical elements of data that are being captured, whether it's video, whether it's geolocation, anything that's being captured by the software on this ruggedized device. Can you speak to the difference between FirstNet's separate core and the other commercial offerings, and why that positions FirstNet to be really such an integral, reliable component of this system that we're proposing today?
Yeah, absolutely. So when you look at FirstNet and what was put in place from the legislation, it really calls out to have a single geographically dispersed nationwide network and core, right? And so what's important there is public safety didn't want a network of networks, right? They wanted to have a single environment to have operability across all the different entities that were out there and eligible to join the FirstNet network. So what that does is it provides even a higher level of security because you have a separate physical infrastructure that's serving only public safety customers and those that are eligible for the National Public Safety Broadband Network, which are those that support the mission of public safety. They are provided specific enhancements and capabilities that you don't get on other commercial networks. And also, as you can imagine, security surrounding this core is a highly important area. And so AT&T has dedicated security network operations centers that monitor the traffic patterns, you name it. We're looking at it to make sure that we protect this asset for our first responders.
Oh, that's extraordinary. So there's a clear distinction between what FirstNet is offering and any of the other commercial networks. So briefly, Doug, if you could maybe touch on a demo program. So if there's anybody out there who's interested in this solution, are there opportunities from FirstNet to help demo this program?
Yeah, absolutely. So one of the key things that took place when we launched the program in 2017 was people were interested in what does coverage look like in my market? How do I get access to the FirstNet network? We put in place a program that supports demo environments so that you can utilize the FirstNet network. Obviously, you have to be approved to be able to participate in the FirstNet program. With that being said, we also partnered with Kyocera. We've partnered with Visual Labs, and we've taken the local control aspect in that app ecosystem, app catalog aspect, and given each one of our demo devices the ability to download the Visual Labs application on the device. So it's sitting there, it's ready for you to download it. And then you can work with Alexander's organization, my organization together, and we'll make sure that you're up and operational on the Kyocera DuraForce Pro and move forward with a demonstration of this really super innovative approach to body cameras.
Well, no better way to see if it's going to work in your jurisdiction than to get your hands on it and let a few of your frontline officers horse around with it, deploy it, get the feel for it. So that's extraordinary. Thank you so much. Well, we are out of time. I want to thank all of our presenters for an extraordinary glimpse into how to really put together this body cam system in a much more innovative and different way than what they might typically be used to. So we hope everybody enjoyed the webinar today and felt that it was time well spent. We deeply appreciate your participation. Again, we are the Public Safety Broadband Technology Association, and we want to be your advocate for all aspects of FirstNet utilization. By being here today, you help support our efforts to continually bring you cutting-edge information about FirstNet, the nation's only fully dedicated mission-critical first responders network, and all aspects of the ecosystem that is being purpose-built to your advantage. Please visit us on our webpage at thepsbta.org for more information on the association, our upcoming webinars, and recordings of all of our previous webinars. In appreciation for your attendance today, you will receive a free membership to our association for 2020. Please let your friends and peers know that by attending one of our webinars, it includes a free membership to the PSBTA while we're all trying to navigate our current situation dealing with COVID-19. Finally, consider visiting allthingsfirstnet.com as well. Their team continually compiles valuable information on FirstNet and the developing ecosystem. This concludes our webinar, How to Deploy an Innovative and Cost-Effective Body Cam Solution. Please consider joining us next week for the FirstNet Lean-In webinar series webinar on Returning to School, Are You Ready? Part 1. Thank you again for your time.